Right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Avenging Angel, 1985. This is the second in this series of 3 discs that are available on Netflix here in the United States. I'm giving this 1 out of 5 stars. I hated this movie even more than the first movie. The only other movie that I can think of where I hated the original and the sequel were that would be Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. The original and the sequel, I hated both of those movies. Anyways, I watched the 3 discs in weird order. I got the first disc, Angel, but it was cracked, so it was unwatchable. I couldn't stick it in my portable DVD player at my graveyard job there at Fisherman's Wharf. And so I had hung on to it for like a week, thinking I was going to watch it, and then I opened up the envelope and the disc is cracked. Oh, bummer. So rather than sending me a replacement disc right away, Netflix sends me Angel 3, the final chapter. So I haven't even seen the first 2 movies. I'm just going into the 3rd movie completely blind. Don't know what's going on. And the 3rd movie was actually the best out of the 3. The first movie was horrible, and the second movie was worse than horrible. That's even possible. Granted, Angel is better looking than the other 2. There are different actresses in each of the 3 movies, and this one by far is the prettiest one. They're all white women, but this one has hirsute eyebrows similar to mine, and you can see the hair on her hands and stuff when they do close-up shots when she's holding a gun, which is kind of interesting. I don't know, she's kind of like a Phoebe Cates look-alike. Not great looking, but not bad looking either. She's got the frizzed out hair, big poofy hair, kind of interesting hairdo, and looks like an afro, almost afro on a white girl. You know how white people used to get perms back in the late 70s, early 80s? That's what it looks like. Anyways, it's got some music by Bronski Beat, and I don't know, kind of sounds like Kung Fury type music. And then so let's talk about the plot. Oh boy. Okay, so Angel is going to law school. We don't know where. The lieutenant, who's played by a completely different actor, is it's kind of like Dark Shadows when Burt Devlin was played by 2 different actors. And I don't know. Yeah, this series is a lot like Dark Shadows. The characters keep changing. Not only the actors are changing, but the names and identities of the characters are changing. Fortunately, the annoying transvestite got killed off in the first movie, so we don't have to deal with him. But we get the 2 other annoying characters. The Kit Carson character, which is played by Rory Calhoun, who's also in a great movie called Motel Hell, by the way. Um, he's his lawyer or locks him up in an insane asylum or something, even though he's not crazy. Doesn't really make sense, but there are a lot of plot holes in this movie, needless to say. There's also the Jewish lesbian slumlord, played by Susan Tyrrell. I didn't like her character. I disliked it even more in this movie. And then there are a couple of drag queens in it. Fortunately, they're not in it too long. They have feminine faces, but you can see they're Adam's apple, and they're kind of flat-chested. So obvious cross-dressers, not very passable, but somewhat passable, I guess. So that's the terminology that cross-dressers use around here. And there's this another really lame, dumb character called Johnny Glitter. He keeps throwing glitter up in the air like it's supposed to symbolize his personality. I don't know. Glitter all over the place. He's like shooting it on Angel and the bad guys and stuff. Completely ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's just terrible. This movie is awful. It's not one of those so bad that it's good type movies either. I know I'm laughing now, but I wasn't laughing when I was watching it. I just wanted to get through that movie really bad, so I watched half of it with my son at the library. But it does have a couple of nude scenes. One is full frontal shower scene of undercover hooker. The other one is a couple of topless hookers in a hotel room with the bad guys. I don't understand the connection between real estate and prostitution in the second and third movies, but it really irritated me that it came up in a big way. The bad guys trying to force people to sell their businesses on Hollywood Boulevard using the threat of violence or whatever. And I'm not sure what that has to do with prostitution, but there's some kind of connection. No explanation, though. So getting back to the start of the movie, okay, so she's going to law school, we don't know where. Her friend, the lieutenant, presumably from the first movie, I'm guessing it's the same guy, who looked like a cross between Marty Feldman and Jack Elam, played by a completely different actor. Very confusing. He shows up at her track meet and she ends up winning the race. That's the beginning of the movie. And she's going to law school. She's got a boyfriend who we see for like 5 seconds. And then he's out of the picture completely. After she keeps asking him, well, should we go steady? And really dumb conversation. So they go their separate ways. The lieutenant is back on Hollywood Boulevard land. And he's got some undercover hooker investigating these robber baron land grabber type villains. My least favorite in the history of movies, probably. And so Yeah, they're kicking little old ladies out of their apartments. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. And I don't know how they got prostitutes involved. But in any case, it's happening somehow. And so they go and they blast the undercover hooker and some other random people who don't even look related to her, who just happen to be in the room. And then the lieutenant shows up. He gets shot. He dies before he says Angel a couple times. Johnny Glitter listens to him say Angel, and then he runs away. But the bad guys know that he ran away, so they go after him. He's in some kind of slum tenement. And by this time, Angel is ready to get her revenge because she's in some kind of courtroom. I don't know if it's a mock trial or the real thing, but she's there. She gets a note that the lieutenant was murdered by these real estate barons, bad guys. I don't know what they are. And so she goes out to get revenge on them. She saves Johnny Glitter from the bad guys. She sort of cajoles, or is it Susan Tyrell, who sort of cajoles Johnny Glitter to be part of the team. So this is the most annoying team, even more so than the original movie with the super annoying transvestite dude. And so they're going to find these guys and give them justice. Finally, we figure out why Angel doesn't like to cooperate with the police. It's because she thinks they can't do their jobs better than she can. Which is kind of silly. I mean, she's friends with the lieutenant, so why did she go sour on the cops all of a sudden when he got killed? Did they suddenly become incompetent after the lieutenant left the force? I don't think so, because she was equally as belligerent to the lieutenant in the first movie. So it's kind of a love-hate relationship she has with the cops that I don't really understand. And there's one scene in particular at the driving garage. It doesn't make any sense. She's got a gun. She tries to shoot it. It gets jammed or something. She shoots the guy in the shoulder. And I'm thinking, okay, her gun works now. But no. She just completely surrenders for no apparent reason. And she walks over to the guy. The guy's about to shoot her. And the cop dude appears out of nowhere and shoots the bad guy. Makes no sense. I didn't understand that sequence or why she surrendered to the guy and why the cop was following the guy. None of that was explained. And she just said, "Oh, you're using me for bait." I don't know what kind of bait she was. I mean, did the guy have a tape recorder? Was he recording their conversation so that he could use it as evidence? They weren't really talking much. They were just shooting and chasing each other. But in any case, Susan Tyrell adopts a baby from one of her hooker tenants who got shot or killed or something. And then that plays into the plot later on. And then what else? Yeah, there's, I don't know, this movie just annoyed the heck out of me. The jokes were not funny. I didn't laugh a single time. I thought Rory Calhoun was funny in Motel Hell, especially at the end. But this movie, I don't know what he's doing in this movie. Terrible acting. Even though Angel is somewhat attractive for a white woman, she doesn't know how to act. Obviously, that's probably why they chose a better actress for the third movie. Honestly, and I don't know. I just couldn't get into this movie. It reminded me too much of the first movie with the overlapping characters. There's also Yo-Yo Charlie in this one, played by Stephen M. Porter. And so, same annoying characters, different actors in some cases, but for the most part, it's very similar to the first movie. What really ticked me off was how the villains are portrayed, and no explanation of what they're doing or how they're going about their business. They just shoot people and chase people. That's about it. They don't explain how or why or what. It's all very confusing and irritated the heck out of me. So, yeah, I'd say skip the first two. And get the third disc if you're interested in this movies. If not, skip all three. Because even the third movie wasn't that great in my opinion, but much better than the first two, I have to admit. So that's the end of my review. Laters.